special Srimad Bhagavatam sessions organized by ISKCON Sydney. And today we will be having our second session on calculation of time using atom. We had first session yesterday. Today will be the concluding session. So let's please sing Jai Radha Madhav for the pleasure of their lordship, and then we will discuss. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhav Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Parth Sarthi Radha Parth Sarthi Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Shri Ram Jai श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमः श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So yesterday we discussed about the calculation of time using Parmanu, and the understanding that we got towards that, the time it takes to cover a Parmanu is called Parmanu time, to cover a Parmanu. Yeah? And Sakalah Parmanur Ev Yo Bhunkte Parmanutam. 3.11.4, Maitreji is telling Vidurji that the time it takes to cover a Parmanu is called Parmanutam. Sato Vishesha Bhugyastu Sakalah Parmomaha. And the time it takes to cover the whole creation from beginning, whole creation as in from the beginning of the creation to the annihilation is called Parmo Mahan, which is called the Mahan time. So we went through the various calculations. We also understood how to calculate a human life, the age of human beings. We also looked at the conversion to understand the calculation of life of Pitra, the entities living on the Pitra planets, and also the demigods living in the heavenly planets. So we looked at those three yesterday to understand the age. Yeah, Ayurman Manam Sata Chayat. That's what Parikshit Maharaj had asked. Shukdev Goswami also. Ayurmanam. How do we calculate? And we also looked at that the similar questions were asked by various devotees during the various times of their association with the exalted personalities, and the whole reason and the objective for devotees to understand the calculation of time and the ages is so that they can use their time appropriately to serve the Supreme Personality of God. That is the whole objective. So yesterday where we concluded, Vidurji had understood this, and then he posed a question in 3.11.16. He's asking a question to Maitreji. He's saying that Pitra Deva Manushyanam Ayu Parama Idam Sumritam. He's saying that I have understood the calculation of age for the entities living in the heavenly planets, in the Pitri planets, and also the human beings. So I understand that. But he also wanted to know, so he says, Paresham Gatim Achakshava. Yeah. Paresham Gatim Achakshava Yesyu Kalpad Bahirvida. Now I want to know the age, calculation of age of the entities who are living outside, who are beyond the kalp. And we will understand that a little bit. But we can say the entities who are living above the heavenly planets. So that's what Vidurji now wants to understand, or people who are beyond the calculation of kalpa, or who don't die, or who don't, so to speak, lose their bodies, or lose, at the end of every kalpa. They still stay alive. Yeah. So that's what he wanted. So that's why his question is, Yesyu Kalpad Bahir Vida, who are outside the calculation of kalpa. We will discuss that today. Let's do Mangalacharan to purify our one, and then we will discuss that. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitantam Sajivam Savadhetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhute Mahadhir Yayma Puro Vibho Nirmayashete Yadamosha Purusha Bhute Gunansho Dashatmakam Solang Kusrashta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me Shri Krishna Sharanam Sharanagatam Katha Amritam Satat Pibatam Bhakti Vedanta Marga Pantanam Sarvaloka Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam Sarvaloka Rishi Deva Janma Prasannam. Hare Krishna. Yes. So let's look at the calculation. Let me share my screen with you. Screen. Okay. So, as you can see on the top, Sun is the central point for calculating all the different durations. And as I just covered, so yesterday we looked at Pitra years, just so if you remember the conversation. So the Pitri, 1 year of living entities on Pitra planets is equivalent to 30 human years, and 1 demigod year is equal to 360 human years, and human being lifespan is 100 years. So that's that. Now, Maitreyi starts telling Vidurji, and as you can see, so what we're going to discuss is day and night of Brahma, which is in the topmost planet, Satyalok, and other planets above Swarg, Martya, and Patal. Yeah? So above Swarg, there is Maharlok, Janlok, Taplok, and Satyalok. So there are these 4 planets above the Swarg. So we look at that. Now, there are 4 millenniums, as you all know. Kali Yuga, or starting from this side, Satyug, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Yeah. Now, all of these 4 millenniums, they are equivalent to, or the duration of the 4 millenniums is equivalent to 12,000 celestial years, which is also called the demigod years. Now, how this 12,000 is calculated is, So you can say Satyug is 4,800, Treta is 3,600. By the way, these are celestial years, not the human years. And you will see the human year calculations next. But one thing I want to highlight is, in actually, the Satyug is 4,000 years, but there is something called Yuga Sandhya and Sandhyamsh, which we will discuss shortly. But for now, just see. So, and how this is calculated is, so it is 10% of the proper Yuga. So Satyug is 4,000 years. So 10% of Satyug, which is 400 years before the starting of Satyug, and then another 10% after Satyug. Similarly, Treta, 10% of 3,300 before starting and 300 after Treta. So this is what we call Sandhya or Sandhi time. We'll discuss that. Yeah? So that's 12,000 celestial years. Now, in one Satyug, how many human years? So as we know that one celestial year is equal to 360 human years. So we just do the simple calculation. So Satyug, so the duration of Satyug is 1.7 million or 1,728,000 human years. Pretty long. Treta, 1.2 million. And then Dwapar is 864,000. And Kaliyug, which we are in now, is 432,000. It looks the smallest of all the yugas, but Prabhuji Mataji, as we all know, this is also the age of Kali. Kali as in Kalaha, as in disagreements, as in blasphemy, etc., etc. Yeah. So this is considered to be very deteriorated age, but Astihi Eko Mahan Guna. But it has one Mahan Gun, it has one Mahan quality, the Kaliyug. Yeah. If we chant the holy name, then we can cross over. So you get the maximum benefit by chanting the holy name in Kaliyug. Yeah. And then we also see this shlok. So this is actually again spoken by Maitreji to Vidurji, and he is capturing, or he is telling Vidurji that dharmas chatush pan manujan krite sam anu vartate. So he is saying that the manuj, the living entities, they perform all the religious activities properly, 100% in Satyug. Yeah. Sam anu vartate in the krite. Krite means Satyug. As you say, manujan krite. In Satyug, they perform. So if you hear krite, that also Satyug. Yeah? So the living entities perform the religious activities perfectly in Satyug. But then he says that sa eva anyeshwar dharmena adharmena veti paden vardhata. So what he's saying is, but the same religious activities goes down, yeah, get reduced by one part. So they have described there are 4 legs of dharma. So one part is going down with every millennium. Adharmen veti padena vardhata. Yeah. So it goes down and the adharm increases. Adharm increases by 1 step. So rather he is saying it increases rather than saying decreases. So highlight the point. Adharmen vardhata, it increases 1 step with every millennium. So Satyug 4 times, Treta 3 times religious activities. Irreligious only 1 part. Dwapar is 50-50, and in Kaliyug 3 part irreligious and 1 part religious. That is why when Shaunakadi Rishi posed that query to Sut Goswami, so they are saying Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana Prayena Alp Ayusha Kalau Asmin Yuge Jana Mand Sumand Matyo Mand Bhagyo Hi Upadhrita. So their intelligence is low. Their bhagya is in their, their misfortune. Misfortune is because also because we consider this unhappiness as happiness. Yeah? In Maitreji, in the previous chapter, in the 10th chapter, he is telling Vidurji that the symptom of living entities, when he's about to describe the creation, so he tells Vidurji that in Kaliyug, what is going to happen is, he says, Rajo adhik karma para dukhe cha sukha manina. So that's how he has described people in the Kali Yuga. Rajo Adhik, the mode of passion will be very high. You want to do something. One is always going, and not just the work life, even in the religious activities. The mode of passion is too much. Yeah. People just want to do things. Yeah. But that's fine. That's fine. Even if you want to progress, not fine in the sense it's not acceptable, but then at least recognize and then move forward. Yeah. So Rajo Adhik Karma Para. Karma Para is they want to do the actions. They are just ready to go. You just have to give them a little push, and they are they are ready to go to do anything in the mode of passion. And Dukhecha Sukhamanina. They are suffering all these miseries, but they think this is happiness. As we all experience around us, we are always in the miserable conditions, but we're trying to find happiness in those miserable conditions. Hope against the hope. Okay? So we are so hopeful. Yeah. Yeah. Aho mahiyasi jantur jeevit asha yatha bhavan. Yeah. Vidurji, when he comes back, he makes this comment when he sees Dhritarashtra living with Pandavas, and then he says, Aho mahiyasi jantu jeevit asha yatha bhavan. That the hope to live is so high in living entities. He looks at his own brother's pitiable condition. And he says, Bhim apvarjitam pindam adatte grihipalavat. He's saying you are eating the food offered by Bhim, that same Bhim who killed all of your sons, and you are eating. And he makes a statement, it's like a pind. Pind is given to the people who are already dead. Yeah. So that is the state of affair, or the state of thinking in Kali. So these are the 4 yugas, Prabhuji Mataji, that we have. So that's one cycle. And they are called Mahayug. They all 4 combined together. That makes it one Mahayug. Yeah. So then, if we so this is one Mahayug. Now there is something called Manvantar. Yeah, but we'll go to that later on. So for now, so one Mahayug, this is combined together. If you multiply this by 1,000, then that becomes one Kalp. Now we are going above the heavenly planets. Yeah, that is the question from Vidurji. Yeah, Kalpad. Yeah, which is away. Yesu Kalpad Bahirvida, who are outside the Kalp duration. So 1,000 Mahayug is equal to one Brahma's one day, one Kalp. And mind you, Brahma's has one day and the same duration is his night also. So 12-hour day followed by a 12-hour night. And I've written Pralaya there. We'll discuss Pralaya and Sandhya later on. But for now, so one Mahayug, 1,000 Mahayug. So that's the duration of the age of living entities above the heavenly planets, and which includes Maharlok, Janlok, Taplok, Satyalok. Even though we're calling it Brahma's day, but all other denizens living there, like Sanat Kumar's, Bhrigu Rishi, whoever is there, so they live for the same period. But what activities they perform, we'll discuss that also. So then that's Brahma's day, 1,000 Mahayugs. Now one kalp is further subdivided, or you can say in 1,000. So it's related to 1,000 Mahayug. One kalp has 14 manvantars. Yeah, and in the 14 manvantars, also same number of human years, which is 4.3 trillion. No, I think it's billion. Yeah, 4.3 billion. 3, 3, 6, and 9. Yeah. So it's 4.3 billion human years. So that's one kalp, which is 1,000 Mahayug. And then in the bracket, you see 984 plus 6 as cumulative Yuga Sandhya. We will discuss that, because if you do math calculation, there are so in one Manvantar, there are essentially 71 Mahayug, as you can see that. So 71, if you multiply 17 by 14, it gives you 96. Actually, this should be 994, not 984. Sorry, my bad, that calculation. But anyway, I'll fix that. Yeah. So that's how it works to 1,000. So one Manu lives for a little more than 71 Mahayug. even though we're saying he's 71, but that decimal point 43, Prabhuji Mataji, that has come from the Sandhya or the Sandhi. We'll discuss that. And that equals to 857,000 celestial years. Once again, these are just the numbers, but I would really want you to focus on getting the gist of it. Human beings, P3 planets, demigods, and Brahma. Just try to understand that hierarchy. These numbers, it will be hard to register and memorize. So, but just try to get the gist of it. Now, that's the Manvantar. Now, you also see in one Manvantar or one Manu is actually 308 million 5571.49 human years. In every Manvantar, there is one Indra. Yeah, as we know, the current we have Indra, and we heard in Bali Maharaj pastime. So Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, told Bali Maharaj that he will be the next Indra. So when the change happens in next Manvantar, the Indra will be Bali Maharaj. Until then, he's in the lower planets. Yeah. So Indra is one of the important angas. It's called the Anga of Manvantar. Then Supreme Lord's incarnation. Lord Supreme Personality of Godhead incarnates himself. So he comes. He also takes various incarnations throughout the time, but there is one main incarnation. Yeah. So the current Manvantar is the Vyavast Manvantar, and the incarnation is Vaman Avatar. Yeah. Then we have seven Saptarishis, then Manu Maharaj and Manu Putra. And when I'm saying Indra, with Indra, other demigods are also included in that. Yeah. So these are the 5 important angas of a Manvantar of one Manu. Now, the next you see is Sandhya and Pralaya. Now, what is Sandhya? So Sandhya is basically Sandhi. It is the transitional period or conjunction of 2 millenniums here, but it is also conjunction. As you know, we also have 3 Sandhyas in a day. We all sing, we all do Mangala Arati and we sing that prayer. What is so? If you remember the last verse, what do we say there is? Yasya prasadat Bhagavad prasado Yasya prasada Nagati kutopi Dhyayan stuvam stasya Yashastri sandham Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. 3 sandhyam. Yeah, sandhyam as in sandhi. Yeah. So we also have 3 sandhis in a day. Yeah? So so basically how it works is in the Vedic calculation is a day and night. So we are talking about the day. During the daytime there are 3 sandhis. Yeah. So it starts from sunrise and it goes. So the day basically starts at sunrise and until sunset. So during this day, it is divided into 5 parts, and one part is 2 hours and 24 minutes. So if you add up 2 hours and 24 minutes 5 times, that gives you 12 hours. So that is roughly a 12-hour calculation in a day. Now in a day there are 5. So these five intervals. So the first one, when the Sandhi, like I said, the conjunction. So Pratekal is the first. Prate means when the night and the day. So that's a conjunction, night and day. Yeah. So because day begins and night goes. So that's called Pratekal. Yeah. Then there is called mid-morning. Yeah. There is called mid-morning. Yeah. Then the third one is afternoon. And the fourth one is mid-afternoon. And the fifth one is the evening, yeah, which is sun. Now sun is about to set, day is about to end, and the night is about to begin. So these are the 5 lessons. Out of 5, Prabhuji Mataji, in this prayer that we are saying, that I'm offering the prayers, Dhyayan Stuvams Yashastri Sandhyam. 3 Sandhyam, all those 3, at those 3 conjunctions, I'm offering prayer or I'm doing meditation and I'm Stuvantam, I'm Stuti, I'm glorifying. Yeah. Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. So those 3 hours first in the morning, then the second one we don't do mid-morning, but we do afternoon, and the third one is we do in the evening, not the mid-afternoon, but the evening. So these are the 3 sandhyas. That's when we are supposed to do our prayers. And of most of you, a lot of you are already Brahmin initiated, so you know that how you are performing those, chanting your Gayatri as well. And even in Ved, Bhagavan Vyasdev, Srila Vyasdev, in the Vedas, he is saying that Sandhi upasate Sandhi Velyam. Yeah? Sandhi Velayam. When the Sandhi Vela comes, when the time of Sandhi comes, upasate Sandhi Velayam Nishaya Divasasya cha. Yeah? Tam eva Sandhim. Yeah? When we are offering prayers, yeah, night and the day, during the daytime, between the day and night, yeah, Sandhi Velyam, at the conjunction of day and night, when the Sandhi Vela comes, upasate, up as in sitting closer, asate is sitting, up as in close. So sitting close to the Krishna, the Supreme Lord, when we are glorifying that. So he says, upasate Sandhi Velayam Nishaya Divasasya cha. Yeah. Tasme Sandhim. Yeah. Tasme Sandhim Tasmatu Pravadanti Manishina. Only then, that's what the intelligent people call it a Sandhi or a real Sandhi. So that is the importance of Sandhi Prabhuji. So that is the Sandhya in a day. Now we also have Sandhya so there is a Manvantar Sandhya, there is a Yug Sandhya. Yeah. So we've already spoken about daytimes. In the year transition also, from a Vaishnava calendar point of view, you know how we have 365 days, but normally we just worked through yesterday, we have only 360 days. So that extra 5 days give you that sort of overlap or something you can say from a year to year or sometime between days and month, like that. So you have that, but then going to the next level is the Sandhya, Yug Sandhya. Yug is, these are the 4 yugas. So 10 years prior, which is called the dawn, and the 5 and the 10% later part, which is called the dusk. Yeah. So now we are in the Yug Sandhya of Kali Yuga. Yeah. And as Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna says in Garuda Puran, that when he announces his appearance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Aham Purno Bhavishyami, yeah, Yuga Sandhya Visheshata. Yeah. Aham Purno Bhavishyami Yuga Sandhya Visheshata. Yeah. Maya Pure Navadvipe Bhavishyami Sachisata. In Garuda Puran, Lordship has declared that during the Yug Sandhya. So that is why these 10,000 years are supposed to be the golden years. Yeah? So these are called the golden years of Kali Yuga. And during this time, Prabhuji Mataji also, Maitreji tells Vidurji that Yatra Dharma Vidhiyati. So he says during this time, during the Sandhi time, all the dharmic, all the best activities can be performed or are performed. Yeah. So there is a great hope for us. And who else? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came to help us. Yeah. And he has given his Golokera Prem Dhana Harinam Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu has given us that. So all the tools are available for us. So that is the Yug Sandhya. Now similarly, Manvantar Sandhya. After the Manvantar, when the Manvantar changes, and that is why you see, as I was telling you, if you look at the rows above, 1 Manu, I'm saying 1 Manu equals 71.43 Mahayugas. So you see, so there is that decimal there. But literally what it is said is that after every Manvantar, we have a Yug Sandhya, which is equivalent to the number of years in Satyug. Basically, you can take it that way. 1.728,000. Yeah. And there is actually a pralay, a shorter pralay at the end of the Manvantar also. So we will talk about this. So I hope you understand this Sandhya now. Yeah. Then the next we go is the pralay. So these are the 2 different things. So pralay is dissolution. So the first or the biggest pralay is the Mahapralay. Mahapralay is, as we say, Brahma's lifetime his own lifetime is 100 years. His 100 years is called Mahakalp. Yeah? His 100 years are Mahakalp. So at the end of Brahma's life, the Mahapralaya happened. Everything dissolves. Yeah? And then during the Brahma's life, at his end of his day, when the night comes, that's when the partial pralaya happens. So during the partial pralaya, as I told you yesterday, so what happens is Prabhuji Mataji, and that's the basically this session or the discussion about, as we're saying, we are talking about the day and night, calculation the duration above the heavenly planets. So in the partial pralaya, Prabhuji Mataji, in Brahma's night, what happens is everything up to the heavenly planets, or the three lok, what we say. So the three lok is Bhulok, Swarglok, and the Patal, or the lower planetary systems. All these planets or all these systems, they go through a complete dissolution. And Maitreji describes to Vidurji that during the partial pralaya, during the Brahma's night, what happens is now all the planetary systems up to the heavenly planets, they start burning. They start burning from the fire emanating from the mouth of Sankarshan. And Prabhupada in the purport says for 36,000 celestial years, mind you, for 36,000 celestial years, these three planetary systems, they keep burning. It sounds like a very long time for us, but mind you, as you go up the higher planetary systems, for them, it's a moment of time. Yeah. It's a moment of time. There's a very nice pastime we discussed during Lord Jagannath, Snan Yatra. Maybe we'll discuss it later, but it's a very nice pastime. How King Indradyumna, when he went to Brahmaji's, he went to Satyalok to invite Brahmaji to come down and perform the ceremony of the installation of the deities, Jagannath deities. And what happens is he went up and he was there for a few hours. And by the time he comes back downstairs, the whole city has changed. The whole city has changed. He could not find the same people. The temple that he constructed wasn't there at all. Rather, his own family members were gone. There was a new king in the city. And the temple was submerged into a dust storm. And Maharaj Indradyumna comes and he's saying, where is the temple? Where is the temple? And then he goes to the king. But by the time once king was riding on his horse, and his horse stumbled upon you can say his horse toe hit the tomb of the temple, which was very huge temple, but sandstorm, it got submerged into the sand. So his horse fell over, and then king thought, what is underneath? And then as he cleared the dust, he found this huge temple. And that king was saying, this is my temple. But then Maharaj Indradyumna says, no, this is my temple. And then there was a long conversation between them. And then as the argument was going on, then Naradji came. Or rather, I think it's Kag Bhushundi who came, because he could see past and the future as well. So he came and then he told them. He told the king, yes. He said, where did you go? He said, I just went to request Brahmaji to come down. And they asked him, how long were you there? He said, I was just there for a few moments. But Brahma's few moments were many years in the Bhulok. So by the time he come back, generations changed. He couldn't find the same people. So that's that's what happens. Yeah. So when the pralaya happens, partial pralaya happens, Prabhuji Mataji, the fire is emanating from the mouth of Sankarshan, and it burns for 36,000 celestial years. So as it is burning, and then that's for 36,000 years. Then next 36,000 years, all the lokas, they submerge into the water. They go under the water, and there are very strong winds blowing. Strong winds blowing goes under the water. It's 36,000. Complete dissolution. Pralaya. Yeah? Partial pralaya. Sorry, I'm saying complete. But that's what happens to these three planetary systems during Brahma's night. And then when Brahma wakes up, his day starts. He starts the creation once again. And during Brahma's night, what happens, Prabhuji Mataji? Brahmaji then goes to sleep. But Maitreji tells Vidurji that Brahmaji, then in his mind, he's meditating on Shri Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He's meditating on Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and he's praying for the directions so that he can start the creation again after his night passes. And as Brahmaji is praying, now when there is so much fire coming out from the mouth of Sankarshan, so the rishis who were in the Maharlok, as I mentioned, just above the Swarlok is Maharlok, Janlok, Taplok and Satyalok. Because there is so much fire, the heat is going into the next planet above Swarlok, into the Maharlok. And the Rishi Muni from Maharlok, they shift themselves to the Janlok. Like I said, from third floor, they go to the fourth floor. Yeah? Third floor still stays, but they move themselves up to the next floor, into the Janlok. And there what they are doing, they engage themselves, Bhrigu Rishi, Sanakadi Rishi, they are constantly glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead during this time of partial prayer. So they are singing the prayers, they are glorifying the Supreme Lord, and Brahmaji, as if he is sleeping, what he is doing is, he is meditating on Shri Garbhodakshari Vishnu, so that when the day starts, he can start the creation again. So that's the partial pralaya. Then there is also a shorter pralaya, Prabhuji Maharaj, and it is mentioned in 3:11:23. You can read that. Yeah? After every manvanta, there is a shorter pralaya happens. Now I'll give you an example. I've also mentioned Srimad Bhagavatam 8.24. 8.24 is a story about King Satyavrat. If you must have heard that, when the Lordship took a fish incarnation. So Maharaj Satyavrat, this happened in the time of Chakshusha Manvanta, which is last Manvanta. We are in the 7th Manvanta now. It happened in the 6th Manvanta. So Maharaj Satyavrat, he was a staunch devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, totally surrendered. So because Lord Krishna, he cares for his devotees, so he wanted to protect him. Because the shorter pralaya was about to come, Manvantar was about to end. So the Lordship appeared in the form of a fish. Now Maharaj Satyavrat, he was performing his prayers, and as he was offering waters from the river, he was offering the water to sun. Then the Lordship appeared in that water as a fish. As he appeared as a fish, so he actually came into the palm of Maharaj Satyavrat when he took the water. Now king looked at it, and the fish started praying to King Satyavrat that please take me with you. I'm afraid of in these waters. I might not be able to survive into this water. And then the king felt pity on him, and he took the fish into the palace. And then he put the fish in a jar. As he put the fish into a jar, the fish became so big she could not fit into a jar. Then fish told king, please put me into another bigger pot. I'm not able to survive here. Then he put fish into a bigger pot. As the king put into a bigger pot, the fish size became bigger again. And now, so again fish told king that I'm not able to fit into this. Maybe take me into the river. As king take him into the river, as he put him into the river, the fish size became so big it wouldn't fit into a river. And then the fish told king, oh my dear king, I can't fit here. Maybe take me into the ocean. Now King Satyavrat took fish into the ocean. As he put into the ocean, it became so big, it won't even fit into the ocean. And now King Satyavrat realized that this is not an ordinary fish. With folded hands, he started offering prayers to the fish. He said, my dear Lord, who are you? Please bless me, please. And then as he glorified, then the Lordship responded. And he told King Satyavrat that, oh dear king, I am pleased with your devotion service and I have come to protect you. So within 7 days from now, the pralaya will happen. The dissolution will happen. But so the Lordship told him that on that particular day, with all the Saptarishis, you can take all the Vedas, all the knowledge, the herbs, etc., seeds, and there will be a boat here. So you can come and sit on the boat, and Vasuki Nag will be pulling that boat. So the devastation water will come, but my dear king, you will be saved. So king exactly did that. And king was saved, and in the next life, that king became son of sun god, son of Vivaswan. Yeah? And son of Vivaswan, who is the Manu now in this, Vaivast Manu. So that is how a shorter pralaya happens, Manvantar. So you can read SP 824. So these are the three pralayas, Prabhuji Mataji, and these are the yugs, Manvantar Sandhya, Yug Sandhya, and we also spoken about the three Sandhyas in a day. Yeah. Then next level, again discussing Brahmaji's day and night. Now 1 day of Brahmaji is 4.3 billion, 4.3 billion. Sorry, I'm just in my mind, I'm working it out. So it's 4.3 billion. Billion is 9 zeros. Yeah. So 4.3 billion is 1 day, and his one night is also 4.3 billion. So Brahmaji's 1 day and 1 night now adds up to 8.6 billion human years. Huge. It's a very, very long number for us. But like I said, for the living entities above the Swarglok, it's very small. Then Brahmaji's now 1 year adds up to 720 kalp, because he has 360 days in a year and 360 nights in a year. 1 day is a kalpa, so we add them up. So Brahma's 1 year is 720 kalp, which is 3 million billion trillion, which is 3.1 trillion human years. And these are already inclusive of the Sandhi times of the subsequent creations, Yugas and Mahayugas. Yeah? So that's Brahma's 2 days. Now, then also, now Maitreji further tells Vidurji that Brahma's age is divided into 2 parts, which is called 2 prarabdha. Prarabdha, yeah, 1 half and other half. So the first half is 50 years and another half is 50 years. So also in 3.11.34, Maitreji tells Vidurji that Purva Prardho Apakranto, that the first Prardha, that the first 50 years of this Brahmaji, because we are in the 7th Manvantar, have passed. So we are in the second half of Brahmaji's life, Prabhuji Mataji, of this creation. Yeah. So we are in the second half now. And then if we all add all of this together, it makes it Mahakalp. So Mahakalp is Brahma's total life, and Brahmaji lives for 100 years. So then that number you can see, and you can work it out. So it's million, billion, trillion. So it's 311 trillion years. Yeah. So that is Brahmaji's life, and that's how long, Prabhuji Mataji, this whole universe, this universe that we are in now. So that is the duration of this. But now Maitreji tries to put things into perspective. Now he tells Vidurji that these prarth that I've spoken to you. So now he tells Kalo ayam dvi prarth akhyo. Yeah. So that this time, Kalo ayam dvi prarth akhyo, that I've spoken to you, the time for 2 prarth. Yeah. It is nimesha. Nimesha upcharyate. Yeah. It is measured as just 1 nimesh. For who? Then he says, Avyakratasya anantasya. Yeah. Avyakratasya anantasya. Yeah. Adir, anadir. Yeah. Anadir jagat atmana. Yeah. So he says, even though, so I've spoken of these 2 prarths to you, Vidurji, but my dear Vidur, these 2 prarth are just like 1 nimesh. Nimesh upcharyate. For whom? For that Supreme Personality of Godhead who is avyakrit, who is not subjected to any change, who is anant, avyakritasya, anantasya, who is anant, who is without any beginning, anadir, who is anant and who doesn't have any beginning, and he is also Jagat Atma. So that's what Maitreji tells Vidurji. And also equally, as we know, Brahmaji is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Brahma Samhita 5.48. But he's saying, Yasek ni swasito kalam. Yeah. Yeah. That one breath. Yasek ni swasita kalam. And then he says that Jivanti Vilom, and because he is born from the pore of the supreme of Mahavishnu, Vishnu Mahan Yasya, yeah, Jagadanda Nath, who is the Nath of this Jagat And, of this, as you see from outside, this whole sphere, this universe, it looks like a And, yeah, Anda or a And Nath. So he's saying for that, because these universes are coming out from the pores. Rome Villaja, Rome as in pores, and Villa as in whole, and then Ja as in born. So these universes which are born from the pores, from the holes of that Vishnu Mahan. Vishnu Mahan is Mahavishnu, yeah, that Vishnu Mahan, and who is just Kala Vishesho, who is just a Kala, who is an expansion of an expansion of Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So that Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am glorifying. So Brahmaji is always glorifying that Supreme Lord. And then in the next verse, 3:11:39. Now Maitreji, again, just to put into perspective, he tells Vidurji that Kalo Ayam, this Kal, which is Parmanav, Adir, and then Dvi Parardha Anta Ishvara. Yeah? So he's saying this Kal, which begins with the Parmanu and goes until Dvi Parardha Anta. Dvi Parardha Anta is at the end of Brahma's life. So he's saying Kalo Ayam Parmanav Adir Dvi Parardha Anta Ishvara. It can only control from this end, from the beginning, as in like Parmanu that we discussed yesterday, until the end of the Dvi Parardha, until the end of the Brahma's time. But then he says that Na Ev, yeah, but this time it cannot control the Prabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Bhumna, yeah, who is called Bhumna, who is great. It cannot control that Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Kal. But at the same time, he also says that Ishwaro Dhama Manina. But this Kal can act and can control the people who consider this body as themselves. Ishwaro is the controller of Dhama Manina. So Prabhuji Mataji, very important. If we identify ourselves with the body, the Kal acts on us. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, what is that famous verse? Ayur harati vai pumsam udyan astam chayannaso tasya rite yat shanau nita uttam shloka varte. So the time, Ayu harti, so their age is stolen away. Yes? Udyan astam chayannaso. By the rising and setting of the sun, their age is stolen away. Their age is taken away. But except those who are engaged in Uttam Shlok Vartaya, who are engaged in the discussion of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. Let me just stop sharing now. Okay, just checking the time. Yeah. So Prabhuji Mati, that is pretty much the calculation that I've shown you for the denizens or the various living entities. But now the point that we want to discuss is how important the time is for us to utilize properly. Yeah. So the same mood, as Maitreji is telling Vidurji now, that the same time is Ishwar is controller of people who consider this body as home. Yeah. Even Brahmaji, when he starts praying when he's meditating, and then before he starts creation again, he is praying to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says very nicely, Loko vikarma nirata kushale pramata karmanayam tvadudite bhavadarchane swe yastavadasya iha jiviti yastavadasya balavan iha jivitasham sadyaschinati nimishaya namo stutasmai yasmat bibhemi ahamapi dviparardhajoshnam adhyasita sakalaloka namaskritam ya tepe tapo bahavo varurut samana tasmai namo bhagavate dhimakhaya tubhyam. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:9, 17 and 18. So Brahmaji is praying to the Supreme Lord before he starts the creation again. And what he is saying is that, my dear Lord, that the people are engaged. Balvan iha jivitasham. They are so desirous to enjoy the material benefits or the material comforts in this life, my dear Lord, that they are always engaged in performing karmas. They are always engaged in performing the bad karmas very nicely. Kushle pramatta. Pramatta is in somebody who is mad, and they are in madness. In the madness, they are performing these type of actions. Yeah. But my dear Lord, he is saying you have already prescribed, yeah, bhavad udite swa archane, tvad udite bhava archane swe. Yeah, so you have yourself prescribed the activities to be performed, which is doing your archana, doing your service. But my dear sir, my dear Lord, because they're engaged in, they're using their time to perform all these activities, then what happens is sadyas chinati nimishaya. Yeah, sadya says in immediately. My dear sir, immediately you destroy all their plans. Yeah, nimishaya, in one moment. And that's what we saw, the pralaya. Yeah. So Prabhuji Mataji, as you just went through those calculations. Yeah. And as even Brahmaji is saying that, or as Maitreji concluded, he's saying, Kalo ayam dviparard akhyo. So this kal, which is called dviparard, but it is nimesh upcharyate. It is just a blinking of eye for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Brahmaji is saying that, my dear Lord, because even though you have prescribed the karmas to be done, apni achari jivera dharma sikhai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he told us. But my dear sir, but just by your blink of your eyes, nimishai, all their plans get shattered. I bow down to you. And then he compares himself with us, with these living entities. He says, Yasmat bibhemi aham api. So he's saying, even I myself, Brahmaji is saying, my dear Lord, even I myself is afraid of your Kal Shakti, of your Kal Chakra. Yeah? Kal Chakra, Prabhupada says, for various planetary system as the sun revolves. So every planet, they have their different time. Yeah? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaurang Mahaprabhu, when he's speaking to Sanatana Goswami, so he's telling, Jyotish Chakre Surya Yena, yeah, Phire Ratri Dine, yeah, Saptadvip Ambudhi Langhi, Saptadvip Ambudhi Langhi Phire Krame Krame. Yeah? So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 20 chapter, Shlok number 387, Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami that this sun, yeah, Saptadvip, yeah, the 7 seas, how when Prithu Maharaj went around with his chariot and he divided the bhumi, the earth, into seven parts, from the mark of his wheel of his chariot. Yeah? So Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami, Saptadvip Ambudhi. Ambudhi is the reservoir of water. So he crosses. So the sun goes krame krame. Langhi phire krame krame. Yeah. And Jyotish Chakra Surya Re. In its own planet, or where it's I can't think of the word, where the sun, it goes around in the trajectory, put it this way. So in its own trajectory, Jyotish Chakra, this sun goes around, and like this, Prabhuji Mataji, it steals away your time and your ages. So Brahmaji is saying that, my dear sir, just by the blink of your eye, all of these plans get shattered. And not just that, what to speak, these people don't realize, but I myself, Yasmad Bibhemi Ahamapi, even myself is scared of that time, my dear Lord. And he's saying, even though Dvi Parardh Jushnam, even though my life is 311 trillion years, Dvi Parardh Jushnam, I live for 311 trillion years. How many years? But even I'm scared of this car. Yeah, Yasmad Bibhemi Ahamapi. Yeah. And then Adhyasita Sakala Lok Namaskritam Yat. And he's saying, even though I'm the master of the planet, which is respected by all other planets, Sakala Lok Namaskritam Yat. All other planets, the residents of all the planets come and bow down to me. But still, my dear sir, I'm scared of you. I'm scared of this time personified. And not just that, he says, Tepe Tapo. I've been performing these austerities for so long. Yeah. Bahu Savo Rurut Samanas. I'm performing these austerities for a long time to protect myself and also to get your audience. Two things. Yeah. To get your audience and to protect myself from this time, my dear Lord. I'm so scared of it. And I'm doing it. But still he says, I know that you are the master of all the sacrifices. Tasmai namo bhagavate dhimakhaya tuthya. My dear sir, I bow down to you. So this is the potency of time. Yeah. So this is what Prabhuji Mataji we have to realize. So the time, it can devour anyone. When Lord Krishna showed his roop to Arjun in the war, Arjun got scared. Yeah. Arjun is asking Lord Krishna, Akhyo hime Bhagavan Ugra Rupo. Yeah. My dear Lord, ye Ugra Rup, this Ugra Rup, ferocious Rup, who are you? Akhyo hime Bhagavan Ugra Rupo. And then he got scared. And then he says, Namasto Astute, Devavar Prasida. He says, O God of the gods, yeah, proceed, please be pleased, happy on me, please be pleased with me. I bow down to you. Yeah? And then Lord Krishna says, Kalo Asmi Sakala Lok Shakrat Pravratho. I am the Kal. I am the time personified. Sakala Lok Shaya. Shaya is in kill, will be destroyed. I am the time personified. And I am here to devour all these lokas. But Krishna says to Pandavas, except you five, nobody who is on the other side, they will be spared. Yeah. So that is the point, Prabhuji Mataji, that we have to understand. That this Kal, even though he is so powerful, it is an energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. It can control the time from the beginning of from Parmanu to the end of the Brahma's life. It can also control Ishvaro Dham Manina. It can control the people who think their body as themselves. It controls them. But Tasya Rito Yat Shanonita Uttam Shloka Varte. But people who are engaged in the glorification of Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are not affected by this time person. So that is the sum and substance of this chapter. So Prabhuji Mataji will conclude now. So in these two sessions, we have looked at various aspects. We looked at yesterday we discussed what is the importance of measurement. So we all like to measure things, which helps us increase our knowledge and understanding of the world and things around us. So we looked at that side of measurement. Then we looked at how the time can be measured from a distance. Yeah, like we have distance millimeter, centimeter. So we have millisecond, microsecond, micrometer equivalent. So whatever time it takes for sun to pass a Parmanu distance, so that also can be used for the Parmanu time. So that's how we started the calculation. And then using that calculation, we worked out how to calculate the various times, the gross time calculations. Then we also understood the age, the duration of the human beings. Then we also looked at the age and duration of Pitri planets, residents living on the Pitri planets. Pitrini Anti, Pitrabrata. So depending on our actions here, we can go to Pitri planets. As Mahaprabhu says, Eite Brahmanda Bhari Ananta Jeev Gana. 84 lakh yonite karaya brahman. So depending on our karmas, our actions, we just going to revolve around this. Yeah. Throughout this Mahayug, Yug, we are only going to live another. As we saying, Brahmaji has already passed 50 years of his life. Most of us have also passed 50 years of our life. We hardly have another 10, 15 years to live and serve. So let's use that time so nicely as we can in performing our devotional service. So we looked at that human life, Pitri, and the demigods, and then for the residents, then Brahmalok, Satyalok, Lord Brahma's time, we looked at his calculation and how that translates into the human years. But in the end, as a conclusion, Maitreji is saying that this time, however powerful it may be, but it cannot control Prabhur Bhumna, that great Supreme Personality of Godhead. And however long it may be, it is just a Nimesh Upcharyate. It is just the blink of the eye for that Supreme. So with that, we will stop here now. I seek your forgiveness if I made any mistake, if I spoke something out of turn. And once again, I want to thank Sydney Temple Management for arranging these sessions, for giving me this opportunity to serve my Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and you all the devotees. Hare Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Prabhu.
Namaste, Saraswati Deva.